Hey, Nick, are you there? I was just wondering if you were still going to be coming home early.
Oh, hey, Alice. I'm sorry, but it's still too early for me to tell.
Oh, I see. Well, I was just asking because your mom was calling earlier. And she was asking about if she could come over to have dinner with us.
Did she say that? Well, if you guys want to have dinner, you might have to eat without me.
So you mean you want me to have dinner alone with your mom?
What is that supposed to mean? Do you have some kind of problem with my mom? She's your family too now, you know? Don't tell me you have some kind of issue with her now.
Well, it's just, I thought that I told you about how your mom and I don't get along all that well. I mean, whenever she calls, all she talks to me about is having children and how I can take better care of the house. So, honestly, no, I don't really like having to spend one-on-one time with her.
Well, nobody can do anything about the fact that you can't have any kids, but at least you can do is try to make my mom feel better about the whole thing.
I have nothing but respect for your mom, Nick. I hope you know that. But I just can't understand why it is that she dislikes me this much.
I don't know. I think she's getting to the age where she's really wanting to have grandchildren. I mean, we've already been married for 3 years, you know? So even I'm starting to get just a little bit worried about when you're finally going to get pregnant.
I get that, and it's something I think about too. But I just wish that you would take my side a little more often.
And just why would I do that? What is there even to take sides on?
Well, I just mean that having a baby is something that has to be done between two people, right?
I know how babies are made. Thank you very much. What is your point? What are you trying to get at here? Huh?
I'm just saying that I can't make a baby on my own, so maybe the issue isn't all with me.
Oh, I see what this is about. You're saying that this is all my fault, aren't you? You're blaming me for why we don't have a baby.
That's not what I'm saying at all, but I just wish that you wouldn't act like we all knew it was my fault either.
I don't know what you want me to do about that. If you can't get pregnant, then I don't see who else's fault that would even be.
But Nick, I went to go and talk to the doctors and they told me that I didn't have anything wrong with me. So then you think that it all might be just the timing of having the baby? Because like I said, the doctors don't think that it's anything that I'm doing wrong.
Well, I know that I don't have anything wrong with me either, so there. How can you say that you're not doing anything wrong when it's been 3 years and you're still not pregnant? As far as I'm concerned, there's no other problem that can be preventing us from having kids besides you. Or maybe you and I just aren't as compatible as we thought. Maybe we just waited too long. I mean, we were in our 20s when we got married, and now we're already in our 30s. I think that I was better off trying to find someone younger to marry. Then at least I could be sure that her ovaries weren't all shivered up like yours.
How could you say something like that to me? I know plenty of women who have had kids at my age.
Well then, why don't you try for once, huh? Honestly, how about you worry about your own issues before you complain about my mom?
Okay, fine then, but I just want to let you know that all of this pressure your mom is putting on me is going to affect me. If I'm stressed out all the time, then the chances that I'll get pregnant get much, much lower. So if you really do want me to get pregnant, then you should just ask your mom to back off a little.
This is the first time I've ever heard of that. You probably just made that up so you can try and deflect from what I'm telling you.
You've really never heard of that? I don't just get stressed when your mom talks to me. That stress follows me throughout my day.
I don't get how you think you're qualified to talk about stress when you're just a housewife anyways. Don't you know how many women are out there working a full-time job while pregnant?
I know that, but I still don't think that you're being fair to me.
Why can't you just listen to what my mom has to say? You know that everything she has to say is all for your own sake, right? Besides, you'll only be with her for a few hours. It's not going to be that bad.
Nick, it's already 11 o'clock. When are you going to be coming home?
I'm sorry, Alice, but I'm actually not going to be coming home today at all. It's too late, and I don't think the trains are going to be running by the time I get off. So I'll just find somewhere to post up for the night, and I'll go to work just like that in the morning.
Nick, you've been coming home later and later lately. Is your work really that busy?
Of course it's busy. That's why I haven't been able to come home on time. But you don't have to worry about me. If I tell you that I'm going to be coming home late, you can just eat dinner and go to bed before me.
I guess I can do this, but I just was really hoping that you'd start coming back home at your regular time this month.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say. It's not up to me. It's up to my work, and they still want me around.
Well, did you know that your mom has been calling our house every single day? And all she ever has to talk to me about is when I'm finally going to get pregnant.
Well, I'm glad that she's keeping it in the back of her head, because I want kids too, you know? I just wish that we didn't have to deal with this awkward timing, you know? Men are actually really delicate when it comes to, well, making babies. We're not like women where we can just go whenever. The conditions have to be just right for us.
Do you really think that I'm just ready to go at the drop of a hat, Nick?
What are you talking about? Of course women are always ready to go. All they have to do is lie there. It's the men who do all the work.
Well, you have to actually do that work first if you want me to get pregnant.
Oh yeah, because you do so much to get me in the mood when it's time. In fact, ever since you quit your job, you've really been putting on weight. Did you know that? I don't know if you've noticed, but even the other women who are your age look much better than you do. Why do you think that I'd want to sleep with a woman like you?
Nick, you are no spring chicken yourself, but I'll also remind you that we're the same age.
Okay, well, even if we are the same age, you still look way worse for wear compared to your peers. It's just like all of your life has drained from you. You used to be so pretty, and now the spark just isn't there. And then, when I do get home, all you do is talk about getting pregnant.
I only bring it up so often because your mom is calling the house every day to talk to me about it. Maybe if you could talk to your mom and stand up for me a little more, then this wouldn't be happening.
You really think you know more about being a good wife and mother than my mom? How about you quit being so high and might and just take her advice?
What I don't get is why you both seem to think that I'm the only one with the problem when it comes to having a kid. Why are you both so quick to assume that the issue is with me? I'm not trying to blame you, but I'm saying that if we both wanted to have kids, then we should try and be more supportive of each other. Because if you're not going to stand up for me and just let your mom keep berating me like this, well, I don't want to live like this. In fact, your mom even told me that I should just divorce you. Can you believe that?
I told you that you should have just tried and listened to my mom when you had the chance, but now she just wants her grandchildren. Not to mention the fact that even if we had a girl, I know she would want us to keep going until we had a son. So that's why you have to get pregnant now. Who knows if we'll need to have more in the future to make my mom happy.
I don't think that we should be having kids for your mom's sake. It should be something we want.
Well, we're all waiting on you either way. So if you're not going to change anything, you don't have any right to complain. Also, I am sick and tired of hearing you complain about my mom. So don't talk to me about her or getting pregnant anymore. Got it?
Then what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to deal with all of this?
How about you just figured that out on your own, huh? Anyways, I've got work to do, so just leave me alone.
Nick, I really need you to come home early today. You and I have something to talk about.
Whatever it is, you should be able to talk to me about it through text. I still don't know when I'll be able to leave.
But Look, I just really want to talk about this with you face to face.
And I'm telling you that we're going to text each other or we're not going to talk at all. Got it?
Okay, fine then. If that's the way you want it, I know that you're cheating on me.
Excuse me? What are you talking about, Alice?
I mean that I saw you walking arm in arm with that woman on the sidewalk. You both looked so happy.
You saw me walking with some lady on the street? So that's why you think I'm cheating on you? Do you even know who she was?
But her arms were wrapped around yours, and then you both went into an apartment.
Hold on a sec. Are you telling me that you've been stalking me? Man, you're a real creep. Do you know that?
Well, I had never seen this woman before, and I have no idea why else you'd be letting her cling on to you like that.
Man, you really are a little weird sometimes. But do you even have any proof of what you're saying at all? Do you have any witnesses who can back up any of this? Any photos or videos or anything like that?
No, I don't have anything like that at all.
Oh, I see. So you just see me walking around with another woman and you assumed I was cheating. Well, if that's all, then I think we're done here.
That's not all that's going on here, Nick. I mean, you've been making some really weird purchases for the past few months. I saw in your credit card statements that you were going to a women's clothing shop and other brand name stores. Not only that, but you've been telling me all about how busy you are, and yet you managed to go out of state for a meal on a weekend you said you were in the office.
And so what? It's not like I wasn't working then. Besides, I have a lot of reasons for the things that I do, and I don't need to explain them all to you. You've got some nerve trying to piece together my actions through my spending. I really don't know what I'm going to do with you. Maybe my mom was right. Maybe I should leave a barren woman like you.
I am not barren. I told you the doctor said that I'd be able to have kids.
And yet we've been married for 3 years now and still nothing. So if you're not barren, then what are you? And don't you even try to suggest that this is all my fault. We both know that's not the truth.
But how can you be so sure about that? I mean, have you even gone to get examined?
No, I haven't, and there's no need for that anyway. But whatever. Again, it's not my job to explain my life to you. Why don't you pack up your bags and go back to your parents? I'm going to find a younger woman who can actually have kids.
You are just the worst. Do you know that?
Well, trust me, the feeling is more than mutual. And do think that you went to a good school, have a nice job. You were so close to being the perfect bride, if only you could have kids. But I guess that's just a dream for you now. I just hope you never manage to trick another man into marrying you again.
So you're saying you only wanted to marry me because of the information you could find on my resume?
No, it wasn't just that. But all of that showed that you came from a good family with money and brains, not to mention you used to be so pretty. But then you quit your job, put on a few pounds, and now you're just washed up. It was wrong for you to become a housewife.
You do remember that the only reason I quit in the first place was because your mom didn't think a woman should be working after getting married, right?
Well, she thought that you weren't getting pregnant because you were still working, but now the whole thing was pointless anyways. Just a waste of time that could have been spent on making us money. I should never have married a barren old hag like you.
You and your mom are both just awful. Do you know that? I really don't know what I'm going to do with you both.
That's how I feel about you. But I seriously doubt that anyone is ever going to want to marry you once they find out we were divorced for you being infertile. So let's just sign the divorce papers and get this over with. I never ever want to see your face again. Hey Alice, are you there? Heard you got married, but man, your choice of men must have been great. I mean, just look at him. You can tell that there's probably wasn't a single other woman that would have ever wanted to be with a guy like that.
Nick, what in the world do you think you're doing messaging me like this? Why do you think you have any right at all to comment on my husband? You don't know anything about him.
Well, I tried to talk to you, but you completely ignored me. I thought you would have at least said hi to me. I mean, who would have guessed that we would meet again the way we did, right? It was totally random.
And even so, why in the world do you think that I'd want to say a word to you?
I guess your attitude really has only gotten worse as you've gotten older, huh? I really am glad that we got a divorce when we did. That way I didn't have to waste another day of my life with you. You should know that my wife is pregnant with our second kid now. And this time it's going to be a boy, so we couldn't be happier right now.
Well, good for you. I also gave birth to a son.
Don't lie to me. I already know that you can't have children, unless it's a stepchild. But I wouldn't say that you birthed him.
Well, that's because I'm not talking about a stepchild. I'm talking about a child that I had with my husband.
So you could have children after all, huh? Well, I guess maybe it was just that we weren't compatible.
I don't think so. I think you were the one that couldn't have any kids, Nick.
What are you talking about? I literally just told you that I had a kid with a second child on the way. How could I be infertile?
Are you really sure that those kids are yours?
Just what are you getting at, huh?
I mean that ever since we got divorced, I've gone to several more clinics to get second opinions, and no doctor has found any issues with me. In fact, all the doctors have suggested that any issues that might have existed between you and I in terms of having kids were probably your fault.
Well, it sounds to me like you've been going to see a bunch of cranks who don't know what they're talking about.
Tell me, how many doctors have you gone to since we parted ways? In fact, you should know that I actually looked into what you were up to all this time, Nick. You said that you weren't cheating on me, but that was a lie, wasn't it? In fact, the woman you were seeing was pregnant before we even got divorced, wasn't she? I guess that explains why you were so sure that none of this was your fault, wasn't it?
Exactly. I knew from the very start that I wasn't the problem. I knew the problem was always you.
And you're sure that this Marie girl's kids are really yours?
So you know her name too, huh? Well, yes. I know for a fact they're my kids.
Well, you should know that I did even more looking into Marie, and you aren't the only person she's seeing. I'm sure that you had no idea about any of this, but you might want to look more into her.
What? No, that can't be right. You're lying to me.
I'm not lying at all. Did you think that I just guessed her name? No, I've done my homework.
But no, you don't know who she is at all. You're just passing around rumors.
Okay, well, then I assume you must know all about the terrible schools that she attended as well, right?
That can't be right. She told me that she went to one of the top universities in the country.
I see. Well, have you ever seen any diploma from there? Or have you ever been able to confirm if that's true? Because when I looked into her, all I found was a diploma from a very average state school. But that's okay, school isn't everything, and at least you seem happy with this woman.
But was she really lying to me? Are you being serious about this? This is a huge problem if you're telling the truth. What have I been working so hard for if she's out sleeping around on me?
I would assume it's because you love your family and want to provide for them, right?
There's no point in providing for kids that aren't even mine. I would never have married her if I knew that was the case.
Well, I don't see why you're talking to me about this. I mean, you and I aren't even married anymore. It sounds to me like you've got a lot of work that needs to be done and some long and hard conversations that need to be had.
But, I mean, you told me about all of this. I wouldn't have known about all of this if it weren't for you. Please, you have to help me.
I don't have to do anything, thank you very much. In fact, since I know that you were cheating on me while we were married, the only thing that you have coming to you is a lawsuit.
You mean, after all this, you're going to sue me? Come on.
After that, I heard through the grapevine that Nick confronted Marie about what I had told him. He made her agree to a DNA test for her children, and in the end, he found out that he indeed was not the father of his first child or the one he was expecting. He went to the doctor who gave him an examination and ran some tests, only to find that he was not, in fact, able to have children. The truth was that Nick has always suspected his first child might not have been his, but he never wanted to ask Marie without reason to. As Nick dealt with the fallout of recent revelations, I began my lawsuit for his affair. I won easily, and Nick and Marie were forced to take out loans to pay me. Because of that, they felt that they shouldn't divorce to pay back things sooner. And yet I hear from neighbors that shouting can be heard coming from their apartment almost every night now. Either way, I'm just glad that it's not my problem anymore. As for me, I went to go and live with my parents for a bit after the divorce. Then I used the lawsuit money to move into a nice condo. I've been very much enjoying the newfound freedom. Peter, this is about Sky and what I think she should be learning. Do you think that you and I can talk about it one more time?
Huh? Why?
Well, she's only 3 years old, and right now there are 3 things she's learning about, right? I don't think we should be trying to teach her many more things right now because she's still so young, so I wanted to rethink the plan. It doesn't even look like she's having any fun learning right now as it is.
I told you this before, we need to teach her sooner rather than later. Back when I was around her age, I was learning about all sorts of things. And that's the reason why I'm currently working for a very amazing company.
And I'm sure that's the case for you. But I don't think it's good to force her to do things that she's obviously not liking at the moment. She's already told me before that she doesn't like going to learn piano. I think we should let up a little bit on this whole teaching her everything so soon in life thing.
I'm sure that within no time her attitude will change regarding piano. She's just 3 years old after all, and she's got a lot of time to start enjoying it. So stop getting all worked up over it, okay? Also, you're supposed to be the one in charge of caring for her if she's feeling bad since you're her mother after all.
But it's not just her saying she doesn't want to go because she doesn't feel like it. I don't think she likes being forced to go.
Can you please just throw that spoiled view that you have about everything away? Sky is not you. I get that you're both girls, but she'll also have my genes, so she'll be alright.
Don't say that.
I'm just being honest. We were supposed to be having a boy anyway. Then they would have been completely like me, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But instead, you kept on telling my mom that it might be a girl, and for a while my mom didn't even want to see you for that.
Well, at the time, Sky was still in my belly, so there was no telling if she was a boy or girl without an ultrasound. And when we did go and get that ultrasound, the doctor told us that Sky was a girl, so I don't understand why your mom continued to say she was a boy that whole time. Anyway, we don't need to talk about what happened then anymore. What I want to focus on here is not forcing Sky to do things she doesn't enjoy. She happens to like drawing pictures and making things with her hands.
Are you trying to tell me that any of those things will lead to anything in her future? Oh man, don't tell me that you want her to start learning about drawing and painting pictures more now. I will not have any kid of mine make a fool out of themselves when their older selves are trying to make a career drawing stupid pictures.
Then why are you having her learn to play the piano? Playing an instrument is another form of art.
Listen to me, if a woman does not learn how to play the piano, then they're a failure from the start. All my female coworkers all know how to play the piano. And even you can play the piano, right?
And that's because I play the piano for my class at school.
Look, it can be plenty useful when it comes to work.
And when it comes to drawing and making crafts, those two things can also be useful when it comes to work. Sky is still very young, and who knows what kind of potential she has. I think forcing her to do the things we want her to do is not the best course of action right now.
She's 3 years old, okay? She is not worried about the things that you're all scared of.
I think she is, though. And very soon here, she's going to be 4.
Who cares? She's so young right now that by the time she's an adult, she'll just forget about ever feeling upset or scared.
I'm sure she won't remember all the feelings she's having right now. But I don't want her only memories from this point in time to be those of sadness and discomfort.
You really do sound like a preschooler right now. You don't have to be so sensitive about these things, so just give it a break.
Don't make fun of me. I am being serious about all of this. Also, Peter, when it comes to the way you treat Sky, you're very strict. When she acts a little bit differently from what you want, you ask her to take a time out in the closet. And when I'm not looking, you yell at her, don't you?
It's her fault for not listening to me.
I'm not sure how many more times I need to say this, but Sky is only 3 years old.
Well, my mom is getting on me now about having her try to start learning everything, so I'm not gonna let her quit piano class or anything else. Now would you please stop taking away my time with all this boring crap?
This is not boring crap. I understand that she is still very childish, so we don't have to be all that worried yet. But even kids have a mind of their own and a will.
Right now, I'm going back to work. If you still have complaints about what I'm doing, then you bring me some evidence stating that my way of raising Sky is not good enough for you and her. And then you'll get all the proof printed out for me and place it in a big folder and I'll have a look later, I guess. I'm gonna be late today.
All right.
By the way, my mom was pissed. From what she told me, you were slacking off the cleaning today, weren't you?
Sky hasn't been feeling too well today.
Well, it's not like she has a fever or anything. You should have just left her with my mom.
I don't really want to say this, but I don't think Sky really likes your mom. She always yells at her about every little thing. And at times she'll start making fun of Sky and call her an idiot.
That's because you're not disciplining Sky enough. All you have to do is keep your daughter in line and then we'll stop having to yell at her all the time.
All Sky was doing one time was running around in the yard and your mom yelled at her. She yelled at her saying women don't run and that women shouldn't be laughing so loudly. I think your mom is being way too strict with her. It's like your mom is still living in the early 1900s or something. The way she's yelling at our daughter to act like she has to be this perfect woman and that she can't do things boys her age do.
My mom happens to be old, so we have to be respectful of that. Also, my mom happens to be in the flower arranging and tea parties. So she's a very ladylike woman.
I think your mom should really be getting herself someone that can help her. Have you guys even been telling your dad about the fact that I'm going over there to clean? Before this, your mom was going all crazy in front of your dad about how I had to go home one time to take care of Sky. Does she realize that as Sky continues to get older, I'm going to have to be home more often? It's already becoming a bit difficult for me to be over there cleaning all the time.
My mom just happens to have her own way of thinking. All she's been trying to do is retrain you so that you'll be a better woman and a better wife for me. All because you were never raised very properly to begin with.
Never raised properly to begin with?
Look, both your parents happen to be low-life scum, right? I get that you were able to make it into college, but they never raised you all the way that women should be raised. I suppose that has to do with them never going to any universities themselves and not working any jobs.
Huh? Is that what you've thought of them?
What? You actually thought that you were raised properly this whole time?
I've never thought about the way I was raised. I've just respected my parents for who they are and have always thought I had a fun and energetic childhood.
Oh, dang. Everyone around you was the same level as you mentally, so you never knew. Well, in my case, both my parents are from Harvard, and my dad happens to work for the same kind of large and powerful company that I do. Sorry about that. To some lowlife like you, all of this is just way too high level for you, huh?
You really are a dick, Peter.
You think of me as just one because you're such a lowlife yourself, right? That's all. Now, all I want is for you and the brat to listen to my mom and I, that's all. Or would you rather have me throw you both away?
Do you think I'd never choose to divorce you?
A brainless wife like you would never be able to choose divorce if you knew what was good for yourself. Do you really want to make your life harder by becoming a single mother? You already got a nice house right now. All you gotta do is clean and take care of the girl the right way.
I'm done with you. I'm not going to think about you anymore.
Go right ahead. I would rather you not think about me. All you need to do is take care of the brat and do the chores for myself and the parents. If you do those things, then I won't complain.
Peter, Sky and I are leaving your house.
Huh? Leaving my house? What are you talking about?
I'm saying we're getting a divorce.
Is this all because my mom has been getting on you about how you're raising a daughter again? I asked her to do that. I said, let a fire under Alicia's butt for me, would ya?
So that's why she came over to the house. But this isn't just because of your mom. This has to do with you being a constant dick as well.
And that's why you want a divorce now? You really are such a moron. Have you ever been thinking about how you're gonna live after you leave me?
I have thought about it, and that's why this divorce is happening.
Oh, is that so? Then you leave Sky here and go?
You wouldn't be able to take care of her yourself. All you'd do is talk to her every so often, and outside of that, the rest of the time you'd be yelling at her. You have no idea how to raise a child. You haven't been doing it with her so far.
Oh, I would just feel terrible for her staying in the house while you take all your things and leave her here with such depressing memories. So that's why my mom will take her.
And another reason why I want this divorce is because I don't want Sky being raised by you or your mom. All you guys do is yell, 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 trying to scare her into doing what you guys want. I have asked you many times before to stop all of that, yet you guys never listened to me. Just recently, when she wasn't able to finish all of her food, you pulled her hair out in anger.
Well, it's not like she got hurt by that. Don't you think it's her fault for acting out of line in the first place?
When it comes to kids, they are allowed to be a little out of line at that age. And this isn't about her having been hurt by that or not, because having one's hair pulled out sure as hell does hurt.
Shut up. If you want a divorce, then be my guest, but I happen to be that brat's father, so I am not giving up my custody of her. I'm the one who gets to decide how she's raised and what she learns. A low-life, no-good idiot woman like you doesn't get a say in any of that.
You guys are the low-life jackasses. Do you not even know your own parents?
Huh? Jackasses? You're the jackass, being born from two parents that resemble trash cans.
Then that makes you and your parents worse than trash, right? You're not even your dad's real child. You were born from some parasitic woman who manipulated him.
You're telling me that I'm not my dad's kid? What are you going on about now?
While I've been over at your parents' house every week cleaning it for them, I found your birth certificate. It was written right there. Your mom is really your mom, but your dad? I don't think so.
Stop trying to make up such weak lies to me.
I'm not lying, Peter. If you really want to believe that what I'm saying right now is a lie, then go and check with your mom about it really quick. I've already handed that birth certificate of yours to your dad.
Alicia, come to my parents' house right now. You come here right now and tell my dad that my mom never cheated on him, okay?
I have no reason to go there anymore.
If you don't come here and fix this for us right now, my parents are gonna get a divorce.
I don't care about that. Your parents have nothing to do with me. Right now, I want you to be thinking about this divorce. When are we going to meet and talk about the divorce in person?
Are you being serious right now?
You think I'd be lying about all of this? I am very serious.
I can't think about our divorce right now, okay? I'm starting to hear about how I might be the child of a man my mom cheated on my dad with.
Well, it sucks that you so happen to be a bastard child, then. But that's just how things are now, right? You saw the paperwork.
But this can't be.
Then go get some DNA tests done. Then you'll be given the most clear answer in the results.
Dad already said that he's gonna look into it.
I'm sure. He was already a bit suspicious of your mom cheating on him back in the day. When they had first gotten married, they would get into fights about it. That's what he was telling me anyway. Your so-called dad. Now, remember how you were calling my parents jackasses? Who do you think has the real jackass parents now?
I won't say anything about how Sky is raised now, okay? You can raise her any way you want.
And?
I just want you to come back. And then I want you to go and tell my dad that you fabricated all my birth certificate and stuff and that it was all a lie. And then my dad would stop fighting with my mom over this, and then they can all stay together.
If your dad would be able to trust such an obvious lie like that from me, then he shouldn't be thinking about divorce right now. I think your dad has been thinking about all of this for a while now, and this is his perfect chance.
I get that, but I don't want things to end like that.
I don't care how you feel about them, and I'm sure he feels the same way. Another thing. I didn't choose to get this divorce over you wanting to raise Sky like your slave alone. Of course, the number one reason is making sure that she is raised with respect to herself. But you making fun of my parents by calling them lowlifes, and the way you have handled things between your mom and I are also reasons why I want this divorce. You can say that I'm allowed to raise Sky however I'd like now, but I am not going back to you.
But up until now, we've all been living so well together, right?
I wouldn't call that living well. That was just Sky and I putting up with your moms and your crap this whole time. But we're not doing that anymore.
Dad just told me that I'm the kid of the mailman that always used to come to this house. I don't want to be known as that dude's kid.
So you're still going on about your parents' situation? All right then. Tell me what's so bad about being the son of a mailman. That's a pretty good job if you ask me.
I cannot be compared to such a lowlife. I am not his kid. You actually think I'm gonna believe that a guy that's like that has DNA inside of me?
Nobody really cares whether you like the truth or not right now. And here's the thing, I am really sick and tired of you talking about people like him in that way. Before you and I got married, you never spoke about others that way. But the moment you and I became husband and wife, you started judging people based on their jobs and who their parents are. And I'm sure you've been aware of just how rude some of the things you've said have been, right?
Well, after you married me and you became a part of this family, you know? I would never talk with you about things like that when you were just a girlfriend, so stop nitpicking me already.
From what I've seen, you deserve to be nitpicked. And honestly, I think it's your turn to be judged. I'm sure it's all fun and games making fun of other people and their parents. But how does it feel to be made fun of yourself when your mom is a cheating whore and you're a bastard child? Next time you want to try and judge other people's parents like that and make fun of them, think about who your parents are first.
Alicia, just come back here for the time being. My mom wants to apologize to you even. Please.
Have you been listening to me, Peter? I already said that you and I are getting divorced. So why the hell would I listen to what you want me to do anymore?
No, I don't want a divorce.
Well, it's too late. I'm getting the divorce whether you like it or not. Even if it takes me months, even if I need to take this to court, I'm divorcing you.
Don't make me look bad like this.
You don't want to look bad? Well, if you don't want that, then perhaps you should have done a better job making yourself look decent. I'm really happy that I'm finally on my way out of this relationship to you.
Up until now, I've been living such a good life. If a divorce happens, all the people are gonna start thinking that something happened. They'll all want to know about it. I don't want to live with being divorced.
Oh, come on now, Peter. You're making a big deal out of something most people don't care about. But I'm sure this means a huge deal to you, considering you like to make fun of other people and their parents all the time. You've finally come around to realizing that you were the one raised improperly by two low-life parents. From there, Peter went and had a DNA test done on himself, and it was proven that his dad, sure enough, was not his real father. I thought it was already clear that he wasn't that man's son, but to Peter, that birth certificate wasn't enough, and he had to go that extra mile to make himself upset. Because of what was found out, Peter's dad ended up cutting ties to both his mom and him and leaving the house for good. This then led to the two getting a divorce, and once again, Peter was left having to focus on the divorce with me. We talked one more time about it, but having learned that he really was a bastard child, he had given up on himself and told me we could indeed get the divorce. I'm not really sure what ended up shocking him the most. Was it the fact that he learned that the man he had always bragged about being the son of wasn't really his father? Or was it that the wife he had always picked on finally divorced him? Well, whichever one it was, he sure has no strength to stand up for himself anymore, and went along with everything I wanted in the divorce. Perhaps he gave me full custody of Skye in the end because his parents were divorced now and they wouldn't be able to watch her for him. I never told this to Peter, but in my eyes, there is nothing wrong with him being the child of that mailman. And the fact that he called the man that was fooled into raising him his dad was not his fault and was totally warranted. But Peter probably doesn't care what I think about it all now because his parents are divorced and there's no going back. I just hope he doesn't take this so poorly for so long, as he's really too old to be worrying about what's happening to his mom and dad's relationship. He's out of their house now, and what they fight over has nothing to do with him whatsoever. But I suppose when you base your whole personality off of picking on others and on your parents being these two upstanding people, it must really hurt to know the truth. I'm not sure how he's going to go about living his life now in such pain, but I don't really care.